Hello there, scrappy friends. Shannon here with our featured video for this week. I am making a spread in my All About Me Life Crafted album, and I went ahead and I did some of the prep work before getting started. So I printed out my two photos here and I printed them in Instax size, and I don't know if I'll use both or just one, but I wanted to get them printed. And I've also cut and hole punched my paper. So these will be my base papers for either side. And I hole punched them because they will not be in a page protector. So I cut them to 5 by 8 1/4 and then just go ahead and hole punch them. And since this paper has kind of a creamy white background, not pure white, I made sure that the cardstock I used on the other side matched that. So I'm going to be mostly using the August scrapbooking add-on for this spread, but I've also pulled a couple stamps that I might want to use. So this is the Stories stamp that was released on August 1st. And then I have two different sizes of the Bailey alphabet stamp. This is the thick and thin one, and then this is just thin with the dates at the bottom. And then I pulled some paper from the scrapbooking add-on kit. This is just the B side to my flower paper. I've pulled the doilies and this great dictionary paper. How awesome is that? That came in the scrapbooking add-on. This is my background paper again. These are some tags, and then these papers here. So most of the papers I've pulled are from Crate Paper, and then this teal polka dot one is from Simple Stories. And I have also pulled some of the embellishments I may use. So I have the Fresh Bouquet ephemera that was included in the scrapbooking add-on for Citrus Twist this month. I also have the Sweet Stories little mini puffy stickers that were added, and the thickers, these kind of flowery rose giant thickers. I don't know if they'll go well on this smaller scale, but I pulled them because they're so pretty and I would like to try to make at least one of them work. So we'll see what happens there. So now we'll go ahead and get started and pull this together. Okay, so I'm going to get started by layering up some of these 12 by 12 papers and that really fun dictionary paper that was included in the scrapbooking add-on. And I'm going to cut them into strips to place along the side of my right-hand blank white page there. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball like how big they are, no real measurements, just kind of going with the flow here. And I decided I didn't like the off-white of that dictionary page against the more stark white of my background page, so I backed it with some of that teal dot paper just to give a little extra contrast. And then I will go ahead and trim away the excess so I can start layering my photos on. So I love this paper as the base for my photos, and I'm usually very picky about exactly how big the paper is and where my photos are going, but I'm just eyeballing it and kind of going with the flow here, which is really different for me. So now it's time to build my layers. So I'm going to go through the ephemera pack of that Crate Paper ephemera and kind of layer things behind my photos, see where they fit, and pulling in some of the colors and complementary colors of what is already on my page. I decided to use some of the stamps. This is the Bailey stamp, Bailey Alpha stamp, that I'm using to create my title here. Instead of using alphas, alpha stamps are great because you can reuse them over and over and over again. So I went ahead and did that, built my layer, and now it's time to add that great gold doily in the back. It has been so long since I've scrapbooked with a doily. But I love that sweet kind of feminine addition there. So now you'll see how I adhere my layers to the page. And I like to start with the top layer and go back. And I also try to put adhesive only in the middle of my pieces in case I want to tuck in anything else as I am continuing to build my page. And then I'll add a little bit around the edges there. And just building from the top and going piece by piece until I get to the bottom. And then I'll go ahead and adhere that little tag on there so that my title can be on. And then that whole layered piece is on. And now it is time to embellish on top of it. And so I'm going through the ephemera pack again, but this time the section with the smaller embellishments. And I'm going to see what I can add on to kind of pull the page together here. Just those last little finishing touches. I love that they add in some of those acetate pieces because it adds a really nice touch to the page, kind of really subtle touch there that they can add. And I'm just going to go through, see what else they have. And there was no more ephemera that I wanted to add, so I moved on to those giant, puffy, thicker flowers and just found a small one that was black and white. This page would have been way too busy with the giant flower on it. At least the side of the page would have been. And so I'm going to go ahead and adhere the embellishments that I already have chosen and then see how I like it with that and see if I need to add anything else. I'm going to use my tiny attacher to adhere or attach that acetate piece to my page. I really love using the tiny attacher rather than worrying about seeing any adhesive through the clear acetate. So now I'm going to use these little puffy stickers just to add very small touches. I'm kind of trying to use colors that match. These colors are a little bit brighter than the papers that I used, but it still goes and adds a nice pop. And I moved this camera, I think like 4 times because I just couldn't get the placement right where I wanted it. Thank goodness that it did not rip my page as I kept placing it down and picking it up over and over again. So I'm just making sure that this page, this side is done, and it was. So now it's time to move to the left side. And I already had a vision in mind. I knew I wanted that camera tag right in the middle of this page because that is one busy background. And I wanted to keep this side simple, black and white. And even though the background is busy, I wanted it to be a lot more simple than the other side of the page. And I like that the whiteness around the camera really makes it stand out from the background. So I'm going to go ahead and handwrite my journaling here. I like to alternate between handwriting and typewritten. And this is just a really simple list of the things that I wear during the summer because my style is very casual. So see, you can scrapbook about anything under the sun. It doesn't need to be just those big moments. So anyway, here I am just trying to see what else I want to add. The page didn't feel quite complete yet, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere down that tag there. And then I'm going to add some big statement flowers around it. And I went with the really big flowers. And you can see that in my hand. Like, these are huge flowers that I am adding on. But they're big and they're beautiful and they call a lot of attention to the page and they really complement the background well. So I went ahead and just adhered them on right around that camera there and a couple of small ones in the corner, and I played around with the placement of those for just a little bit before committing to exactly how they would go. And that's all. This page came together so easily thanks to the great mixing and matching of products in the scrapbooking add-on this month.